evening. I'm Father Rayappa. I am in Kattupadi, Vellore in South India. I'm going to read article number 140 from Laudato Si, Pope Francis encyclical on ecology and environment. Chapter 4, titled Integral Ecology. So I'm going to read it for you and then I will comment a little bit on the paragraph 140. 140. Due to the number and variety of factors to be taken into account when determining the environmental impact of a concrete undertaking, it is essential to give researchers their due role, to facilitate their interaction and to ensure broad academic freedom. Ongoing research should also give us a better understanding of how different creatures relate to one another in making up the larger units which today we term ecosystems. We take these systems into account not only to determine how best to use them, but also because they have an intrinsic value independent of their usefulness. Each organism, as a creature of God, is good and admirable in itself. The same is true of the harmonious ensemble of organisms existing in a defined space and functioning as a system. Although we are often not aware of it, we depend on these larger systems for our own existence. We need only recall how ecosystems interact in dispersing carbon dioxide, purifying water, controlling illnesses and epidemics, forming soil, breaking down waste, and in many other ways which we overlook or simply ignore. Once they become conscious of this, many people realize that we live and act on the basis of a reality which has previously been given to us, which precedes our existence and our abilities. So when we speak of sustainable use, consideration must always be given to each ecosystem's regenerative ability in its different areas and aspects. That is paragraph number 140, Laudato Si, Pope Francis encyclical on ecology and environment. Pope is explaining about ecosystems. You see, where I am standing, it is an ecosystem. In this ecosystem, there are three components: biotic, abiotic. Actually, two components: biotic, abiotic. Biotic means living, abiotic means non-living. Non-living means soil, weather, sunshine. Biotic means living, the plants, the insects, the animals. And it has got three stages of functions: the producers, the consumers, the decomposers. That is what we find here. Every ecosystem has three players, let's say, three players. One is a producer. Who are the producers? Plants are the producers. They are known as primary producers. They produce food. Consumers. The consumers, they eat the plants. And we depend. Everything is connected. So producers give happily, consumers eat joyfully, and consumers, when they die, the decomposers, they recycle them. See, everything is connected. The biotic, abiotic, connected. There is no biotic, there is no living without the non-living environment. If there is no land, there is no sunshine. Where is life? So Pope is trying to tell you the underpinnings of an ecosystem. The mystery of an ecosystem is very openly writing here. So he's telling scientists they should have their space of exploring ecosystems and study about it and disperse that knowledge to other people, not only for instrumental value. You go and exploit ecosystems and take and take and take and damage the ecosystem. No, not for that. But you go and do research and learn from the ecosystems, how they work, how they function. So it can be a lesson to our human society. We can learn from ecosystems. All wisdom comes from nature, isn't it? So they are prior to us. They have been existing here millions of years. We just came 3.5 million years ago, but they have been existing 600 million years. So they have got more wisdom and more intelligence and more knowledge. So we are going and exploring ecosystems and finding out how they work. At last, scientists find the truth. What is the truth? Everything is connected in an ecosystem. Everything is integral. They don't separate. The producers, the consumers, and the decomposers, they work integrally for the common good of the ecosystem. That is the revelation from an ecosystem. That is what the scientists find out. That is a real revelation. That's why we go and do research in an ecosystem, not to exploit ecosystem and steal something from ecosystem, but we learn from ecosystem. God has infused so much of knowledge and wisdom in these ecosystems. And abiotic and biotic also, integral. They don't separate. The biotic, the environment, for example, the land doesn't say, the living being, no, you shouldn't walk on me, get lost, out. But they are integral. Land offers every bit of it, every bit of goodness to the biotic world. And Pope is trying to tell us that we need to learn from these ecosystems. And also, he is drawing our attention to the ecological services provided by an ecosystem. In every ecosystem, there are ecological services. They are free services. You don't pay them. If you pay electrical charge, you pay for your water pump, you pay for your television bill, you pay for your cell phone, you pay for phone bill and so on, but you don't pay for so many other services. Ecosystem provide them for free. Pope is simply telling it is integral. They do it free because we belong to each other. We are interdependent. We are connected. You don't pay for them because we are connected. They pay for us, in other words. So this is what Pope is writing. See the ecological free services. We need only recall how ecosystems interact in dispersing carbon dioxide. We exhale carbon dioxide and the plants, they take it and they give us oxygen. It's a free service. We don't pay a monthly bill for oxygen, do you? How much you pay? If you have to pay for oxygen intake, maybe every month 10,000 rupees. Every person should pay to the ecosystem. But they don't charge us because they are integral. They are our own family and they are not a stranger. And we are not a buyer, they are not a seller. We are a family. So oxygen, dispersing carbon dioxide, purifying water. The land purifies water. The rains come, even the polluted water you put on the land, it filters and it charges aquifer at the bottom of the land. Pure water is depositing. The bad water is all filtered. It is called purifying water. Free service. How much you have to pay monthly? 5,000 rupees for each person? More than that. But it is free. Controlling illnesses and epidemics. A lot of good bacteria is available. And nature produces good bacteria. Protecting bacteria. And good bacteria, they go and kill viruses and parasites. And nature constantly producing antibiotics in nature. How much you want to pay for that? 10,000? Farming soil, another free service. We don't make soil, but nature makes soil for us. It's called weathering. Weathering. The mountains, the stones, they are the raw material for soil. And weathering means through wind. The wind erodes the rock. And through rain, water, the water gushes on the rock and it erodes the particles from the rock. And the tree roots, grass, their roots penetrate the rock and they erode the rocks. And creatures like ants, you must have seen ants under the bottom of the rocks. They go in and out. You think they are playing? No, they are busy. They are producing soil for us. So that is a free service for us. If I give you a hammer and a stone, if I ask you create a soil, you can never ever duplicate what nature can do. Nature can do finely. You can do, but it's not a soil. You can do only sand. Soil means there are living organisms out there, and it's a living soil. Sand is not living, it's dead. So humans can create through science and technology only sand, no soil. Only nature can create soil. So farming soil is another free service. 1 inch soil, it takes for nature 10,000 years. 1 inch on the surface of the earth. 6 inches of soil we have today. 60,000 years. So that is what we depend for agriculture. That 6-inch soil produces all the crops. If you lose that soft soil, it's known as topsoil. When you cut down trees and when you overgraze, the cattle graze too much, rain comes, erosion takes place, topsoil goes away. Topsoil goes away, your life goes away. There have been so many civilizations that disappeared, like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, the Indus Valley civilization, Easter Island, and Anasazi in America, and Greenland Vikings, and Maya in South America. All these civilizations disappeared because they lost their soil. American President Theodore Roosevelt says so beautifully, the nation that destroys its soils destroys itself. I repeat, the nation that destroys its soils destroys itself. So soil is very important. The formation of soil is absolutely free. How much you want to pay? How much you want to pay to nature for producing soil? 30,000 rupees per month. I mean, you need to earn at least 10 lakhs of rupees in order to pay to the services of ecosystems. So then Pope is saying breaking down waste. You throw waste, and who is recycling it? Nature. Soil is recycling. You can't recycle it. There is millions of microscopic bacteria. 24 hours they recycle them and make them as nutrients. And again, the process of production, consumption, and decomposition could go on forever and ever. And Pope is saying in many other ways which we overlook or simply ignore. I mean, we simply overlook, or we don't want to know about them. We simply ignore. But there are so much of beauty, so much of working is going on behind our backs, under the soil where we walk. And this is an activity, an integrated activity. It's an integral approach to maintain the equilibrium and the common good of the universe. All these ecosystems, free ecosystems, only one goal, common good of the cosmos, common good of an ecosystem, common good of the forest, common good of a mountain ecosystem, common good of a desert ecosystem, common good of a tropical forest ecosystem, common good of a savanna ecosystem, common good of a riverine or lake ecosystem, common good of a land ecosystem. So when all these organisms integrally working for the common good, how come only one creature is not integrated, is isolated, and is not working for the common good of the cosmos, but is working for the selfish motive? Selfish. That is us. That is humans. So that is what Pope is trying to tell in paragraph number 140. All creatures, all elements in ecosystems working for the common good. How come only one species, that is humans, us, we are not working for the common good, but we are working for our own self-interest, selfishness. So now our research has proved that in an ecosystem, everything is integrated and they are all working for the common good. So now we are the prodigal son. Now we have learned, if humanity want to survive in the future, if we want to find a place, find a belonging in this cosmos, we need to act now and we need to work for the common good. And we need to forget self-interest and selfishness, and we need to work only for the common good. And thank you, and God bless.